Hey everybody, what's up? You know, one individual has been asking me how I get my footage of my WWE 13 game here. My WWE 13 game, or any of my other games. How do I get the footage and how do I get the footage and how am I able to upload it to YouTube? Well, it's real simple. And basically what I do is I have a DVD recorder, which is right here, and I've explained this before. I guess I could do an update here. I have this DVD recorder here, and just like James Wolfe, the angry video game nerd, I have what is known as a selector, if you will, up here. And what I do primarily is this is selector 2, number 2 on the selector here is where the Xbox is plugged into, the audio video is plugged into. And what I do is I press one of the other buttons, one of the other selector buttons, so that it won't make so that when I disconnect the audio and video of the Xbox, it won't make a noise. Through the speakers up here. And then what I do is I bring it down here, and this is my DVD recorder. And then what I do is I open this up, and I connect the Xbox in here. And what I do, because right here I think is the Xbox. This is the Xbox audio video right here. And what I do is instead of dragging it around like I do with the DVD player's audio video cables, what I do is I bring it straight through here and connect it. And then that way, and then I start my recording. Now, the way I do this is, of course, I have my remote, which is right here, and I turn it on. I put in one of these, and I recommend you have maybe a 30, 50, and 100 pack of these if you're going to do a lot. And what I do is, first of all, I let the disc get initialized by the recorder, so the recorder can see that it's good and ready to be recorded on, if you will. And then what I do as well is I go to the system menu, or whatever it is on your recorders, if you guys use DVD recorders like myself and James do, and I select the speed. And my advice is, if you're just doing a few matches, a few one-on-one matches, maybe a tag match here or something like that, use the high quality speed, which is 1 hour. Now, if you do that, that will work. The only disadvantage is if you have a 15-minute time limit on your YouTube channel, you're going to probably have to end up, putting the match that you play into 2 separate parts. So it's going to be basically separated into 2 separate parts if you use 1 hour, and at times if you use 2 hours. So that's the only disadvantage at the 1 hour speed. But if you're doing like one big event, like say if you're doing a CPV, which is a CAW pay-per-view, then if you're using all of 2 hours worth, you're going to want to go for about 2 hours, and I suggest using the SP 2 hours speed on your recorder and go from there. And then just upload the entire thing onto your computer. And if you're doing 4 hours, where you're doing maybe the CPV and then let's say your weekly show, do the same, then you could basically go to the main movie option. Let's say if you're using DVD Fab or whatever program is similar to that, go to the main movie option on your DVD program and select your CPV or your weekly show. But again, it all depends on if you have unlimited or not. If you're not unlimited on YouTube, then what you need to do is separate your CPV and your weekly show, if you're using, like, say, the 4-hour speed option, into individual chapters. And that even goes for the 1 hour deal, and that even goes for the 2 hour deal, and even the 6 hours at times. It all depends on how long your event is or how long your match is. So basically that's what you want to do. Also, you want to make sure that your DVD recorder order is on the channel that you can watch and play your DVD, watch and record, and watch, record, and play your game. In other words, mine is line 2 or video input 2, and many of yours might be the same thing. Some of yours might be 1, maybe 3, who knows. But mainly, that's what I use to record my stuff. Now again, the disadvantage though is the only disadvantage you have to make is if you have 15 minutes, and let's say your match, let's say you're doing a 20-minute championship scramble, then the 20-minute championship scramble's got to be separated into 2 parts. Let's say you're doing a 1-hour Ironman match, if you will, or a 30-minute Ironman match. Then those have to be separated into individual chapters. Now, if your recorder has 2 recording chapter options, if you will, then my recommendation is choose the less one. Choose the one that has the least amount of times when it comes to switching from one chapter to another. See, mine has the options of no time limit, just one whole thing, no chapters or anything. But it also has the option of the traditional 5 minutes or even 10 minutes. And the 10-minute option comes up every time I use the ULP mode, which is ultra long play, which is mainly if you're using the near 14-hour recording limit, which I do at times mostly when I'm recording Monday Night Raw, Impact, or SmackDown, or even Main Event. So those are your options right there. Now if you use the 10-minute option, again, and you're doing, let's say, a 20-minute match, let's say the championship scramble, it'll be separated mainly at times into 2 different chapters. Well, actually 3, but it'll be 2, because the 3rd chapter will be like only a minute or so. And if you're doing the Royal Rumble, same thing. You know, recommendation, if you're doing like an Ironman match at 30 minutes, if you will, then I recommend doing the 5-minute limit, so that way you separate it into 2 chapters. Just my suggestion. And if you're doing the Royal Rumble, same thing. If you're doing an hour-long Ironman match, same thing. But again, it all depends on what speed your recorder offers you, and what chapter time limits, and what the time limits are for your chapter switching, for your switching between chapters, if you know what I mean. I know it sounds a little confusing, but you kind of get what I'm saying. But again, this is mainly how I do my recordings, and it's the same way James Wolfe does his. You know, the only difference between me and James and anybody else is when I do some of my CPVs, like I'm planning to do my colleagues, my Created Wrestling League's WrestleMania up very, very soon. When I do those CPVs, I don't do any announcing. I don't even have announcing put into it. I let the actions speak for themselves. I know there are other people out there, people that do their own Created Wrestling Leagues, like the VCW, the WDF, the SCAAW, the CCW, and the list could go on, that do their own commentary, and that's cool. Me, on the other hand, I let the action speak louder than words. So, for those that are wondering, that is mainly how I get my footage of my show, of my video game, of my WWE 13 game, and any other video game I may own, onto YouTube. The only disadvantage, you got to make sure, if you let's say you're creating a character, you want to make sure that you're using music that will not get you in trouble, that will not be blocked worldwide. For example, one of my created characters uses "Shut Up and Drive" by Rihanna as their entrance theme, and it's only blocked in Germany. I don't know why, but everywhere else it's okay. But Again, for those that are wondering, this is how I do it with the DVD recorder. So, hope that answered a lot of questions. Hope that helped give you guys some advice. Let me know what you guys think down below. Comment if you like. And I'll